Hello, how is your family life? I heard you just got married. Who is she? Her name is Amelia. Now our family life is terrible. Something strange is happening to Amelia. What's happened? Tell me from the beginning. Otherwise, I don't even know anything about your wife. Back in the day, Amelia and I were both enrolled at community college. We were two peas in a pod, inseparable from the moment we met. Between our classes, we would grab lunch, hit up the library, or just hang out on campus until the next bell rang. We were like ducks to water. We just clicked. I was knee-deep in theater design, always working on some elaborate set or costume. Meanwhile, my partner was pursuing a career in education, determined to make a difference in the lives of young students. Our passions couldn't have been more different, but we shared a common goal to succeed in our respective fields and make a name for ourselves. Even though we lived a solid half-hour apart, distance was no match for our bond. We would visit each other's homes and plan out fun activities to do together. Some days we'd bake cookies, watch movies, or take silly photos for our Instagrams. Other days we'd just chill and talk about life. We always made sure to make it special. One Valentine's Day, I mustered up the courage to pop the question, and to my absolute delight, she said yes. It was a dream come true, the happiest moment of my life. That's so sweet. How did things develop for you? You haven't shared with anyone for a long time. You know, school just wasn't my jam. In May, I made the decision to join the U.S. Air Force, which took my partner and I by surprise. It was tough to cope with the sudden distance between us since we were used to spending all our free time together. But we were determined to make it work. We exchanged letters, talked on the phone whenever we could, and even managed to fit in a few video calls. It wasn't easy, but we made it through together. Wow, that must have been a big change for both of you. It was. Distance didn't stop us, that's for sure. I remember having a brief break from my training before I headed off to my first duty station, which just so happened to fall over the Christmas and New Year holidays. Crazy, right? Now, even though my partner and I were engaged, we hadn't really thought about tying the knot just yet. Why not? When my partner and I decided to get married, we had different visions of what we wanted. She wanted a cozy, small gathering with just her family and cousins, while I was content with heading to the courthouse and getting it done quickly. We both thought we could always have a big fancy ceremony later on when we had more time and resources. Ultimately, we agreed to compromise and went with my partner's vision. That sounds like a practical plan. So, when did you actually get married? It happened when I came home on vacation. I hopped on an Amtrak train heading west, eager to see my partner after what felt like an eternity apart. To my delight, we were finally able to spend time together during her spring break in early March. We couldn't wait any longer, so we made a beeline for the courthouse and tied the knot. It was a whirlwind of emotions, joy, excitement, and pure love. For the next few days, we were inseparable. We were like two peas in a pod, glued to each other's side. It was like we had a brand new lease on life, and we were determined to make the most of it. That's great! Yeah. After spending some much-needed time together during her spring break, I had to fly out again for a couple of weeks in June. Little did we know, things were about to take a turn. As it turned out, Easter Seals was organizing summer camps for children with special needs, and my partner had signed up to be a counselor for the last 7 weeks of the summer. I was proud of her for wanting to help out, but I also knew it meant we were going to be apart for even longer. Oh, I see. That must have been tough for you. It was. The last time I saw my partner was that summer, right after her birthday in June. I remember giving her a lift to camp and wishing I could spend more time with her. But I knew she had a big commitment ahead of her, and I was proud of her for taking it on. The rest of that summer was a roller coaster of emotions for us. My partner was working around the clock, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, taking care of those special needs kids at camp. I knew it was a tough job, but I also knew it was something she was passionate about. When she ended work, things started to feel a little different. My partner became increasingly distant, always making excuses about her phone randomly turning off at predictable times each week. I knew something was up, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But when she flew in to spend Christmas with me in our new house, everything felt amazing again. We were so happy to be together, and it felt like old times. However, as soon as she left, she reverted back to being a super recluse, just like she was in the previous semester. That sounds tough. What did you do? 1 week ago, I was determined to make things work with my partner. I even took a month off to ride home for her graduation and help move her to my place. And now I'm already getting on the train and going to her? Oh, you're great. Let me know later how you're doing. 2 weeks later, this is the end. Now I'm alone again. Huh? What happened? A couple of days ago, I came to Amelia. But when I saw her, something felt off. I barely recognized her. Every part of her that was with me felt forced and false. It was like she was a completely different person. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, and I knew I had to figure out what was going on. As we spent more time together, it became clear that something had changed in her. She wasn't the same person I had fallen in love with. I felt like I was in a relationship with a stranger, and it was breaking my heart. Did she tell you what was going on? Looking back, I can see how things started to unravel with my partner. At first, she told me she was doing dummy interviews with several elementary schools near her hometown, and I bought it. I thought she was just trying to gain some experience with job interviews, but as time went on, I realized how serious she was about getting a job in our home state. And that's when things got complicated. She burst into tears and acted like I was forcing her to choose between me and her career. That must have been difficult for you. Yeah, it was. And that's when I made a decision that I never thought I would make. I decided to check her phone while she was in the shower. I know it's not the best thing to do, but I felt like I had no choice. And what I found shocked me to my core. There were personal photos, hearts, and hints of closeness with her colleague. I was hurt, but I tried my best not to show it. Over the next few days, I watched Amelia closely, hoping that she would confess. But she acted as if everything was normal. I was so offended that I couldn't keep it to myself any longer. I decided to confront her and show her what I had found. She started crying and apologizing, saying that it didn't mean anything. But I just wanted to know the whole story, from beginning to end. I wanted to know how things had gotten to this point, and why she had kept it from me. When I finally confronted Amelia about what I had found on her phone, she broke down and told me everything. She had met this guy at the camp she was working at, and they had gotten a little too close for comfort. It hurt to hear that. But then she dropped another shock on me. She had kept it from me because she was afraid I would leave her. She said she loved me and didn't want to lose me. That's tough. How did you feel about that? It was tough to accept that the person I loved had betrayed me. I felt like I had given so much of myself to the relationship, and it had all been for nothing. But in the end, I realized that sometimes things just don't work out. Did you have any support during that time? Apparently, her mom had been whispering all sorts of lies in her ear. She was telling her that I had joined the army to get away from her and that I was to blame for all the tears and suffering that her eldest child had gone through. It was tough to hear that someone I had trusted and loved was spreading lies about me. I couldn't believe it. I'd always tried to be kind and supportive to my partner and her family, and it hurt to think that they could turn against me so easily. Looking back, I can see that her mother was manipulative and toxic. She was trying to control the situation, and she was using lies and deceit to do it. And unfortunately, it worked. By Halloween, everyone had turned against me, and I was left feeling hurt and alone. That sounds really unfair. I'm sorry to hear that, David. Is there anything I can do to help? No, thank you, brother. 1 month later, hey, David, what's been going on lately? Well, Luke, it's been a wild ride. What happened? I decided to finally put Amelia in her place and take revenge on her, huh? So I started sending messages to her family and friends, letting them know the truth about what was going on. It wasn't easy, but I knew it was the right thing to do, and that was just the beginning. I wrote a 3,000-word letter detailing everything that had happened. I included copies of our marriage certificate and other documentation, so there could be no denying the truth. I felt like everyone needed to know the truth, that we were married, had plans for our future, and I had put in a lot of effort to make it work, but more importantly, I wanted them to know about the guy she was secretly living with. I'm talking about his name, address, phone number, and even the name of the camp counselor. It was tough to do, but I felt like it was the only way to get the truth out there. And in the end, it worked. Her family finally saw the truth, and I was able to move on with my life. What happened after you sent the letter? When I finally spoke out about what was going on between me and my partner, I knew that there would be consequences. But I didn't realize just how catastrophic they would be. She faced a lot of challenges due to her extremely religious Catholic family cutting her off, and her reputation at her old school being harmed. On top of that, her new job caused her a lot of stress and pressure, which made her retire before the holiday season. It was a difficult situation to endure, but she recognized it was the best decision to make. Letting go of my secrets was the most liberating moment of my life. I had been carrying all that burden of pain and hurt for a long time, and it was such a relief to finally be able to release it all. That must have been a difficult decision to make. What did her family and friends think of it? Her sister Ava responded, and it was like a breath of fresh air. She supported me, and she agreed that infidelity was unforgivable, and she even invited me to coffee at her house. It was a huge relief to know that someone was on my side. And it was even more comforting to know that I wasn't alone in my feelings. I had always felt like I was the only one who really cared about the relationship. But Ava's support showed me that there were others who felt the same way. Oh, so you have a date with Ava? As for what's going to happen next, I'm not sure yet. Ava and I have agreed to see each other on Saturday when I arrive in the city, but there are still 5 long days to go before that, and I'm not sure what to expect. Wow, bro. Thanks for listening, though. It feels good to get it off my chest. 1 week later. Are you serious? Are you sleeping with my sister now? Why are you silent? Answer me. Hey, Amelia, why are you texting me? I think it's time we call it quits between us. I have the right to do what I want and be with whoever I choose, but not with my sister. That's just disgusting. Is this the one who cheated on me? Let's not be so harsh on each other, Amelia, and move on with our lives. You're the one who got involved with my family and messed everything up. I loved and trusted you, and you just threw it all away and started talking to my sister. Your sister is a very kind and pleasant person, unlike you. It's time for us to end this and go our separate ways. What? You're disgusting. And to think, I did the right thing by cheating on you. Yes, you're absolutely right. You showed me who you truly are, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, Amelia. Ugh, I hate you. I enjoyed our conversation, too. Goodbye, Amelia.